Can we please stop with this? Welcome back to another episode of Sloppy Saturdays. And today we are going over Sheduer Sanders and how the hype, the media, the public has just been taking his story and putting it through the roof for no reason at all. This is a story that I think deserves, again, little to no attention in the media if we're actually basing it on what could happen with Sheduer Sanders. And everybody is just putting it through the absolute roof. Today we're going to go over why I believe Sheduer Sanders in this Browns organization has a close to zero shot of being their starting quarterback to the future. I think there is almost no opportunity for him to start for the Cleveland Browns. Let's get right into it. So, what I have to say about the Sheduer Sanders hype is absolutely ridiculous. Anytime I go on my feed, my YouTube feed, my TikTok feed, whatever it is, these mainstream medias that are supposed to be covering great players in NFL, college football, like we have all-time greats in the NFL, future all-time greats. They are covering Sheduer Sanders and every single Browns practice, and that's what they are focusing their NFL offseason on. When Sheduer Sanders has as a close to zero shot as you could get for being the future of the Browns, I'm going to tell you guys why now. I know a lot of you guys that are going to watch this are going to be looking at this like as rage bait, but it really isn't. When you look at Sheduer Sanders' opportunity, it has just came out recently that the Browns owner didn't even want Sheduer Sanders. Not only that, Sheduer Sanders told Dion not to even come because he's getting single-digit reps. Like, the scariest thing if you're a quarterback or if you're anybody in sports, out of sports, is not getting an opportunity to prove yourself. You get an opportunity to prove yourself, you have at least a chance of getting the job. But if you have no opportunity at all and you are watching people that you think you are better than getting all the opportunity, that's a scary thing because you can't show yourself, you can't prove yourself. Now, it was a very big thing that Kenny Pickett was sidelined because people thought, hey, Sheduer Sanders would get more opportunity. But now we are looking at Sheduer Sanders, and he's still getting these single-digit reps. He's still getting these reps against these practice squad players, these second and third string players. They are showing very little faith in Sheduer Sanders. And when we look at the future of this Browns organization within the next 2 years, it's going to be very scary for Sheduer Sanders. And if he's even going to be able to ever get this opportunity in the Browns organization, because when you look at the Cleveland Browns organization, like we all know, they are not going with a rookie day one. They were either going to go with Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett. Now it's most likely going to be Joe Flacco, obviously, as Kenny Pickett is sidelined. So you already have a span of at least 4 to 5 weeks where you know a rookie quarterback isn't getting in. Now you also have to put into fact as well that Dillon Gabriel is getting a lot more reps than Sheduer Sanders. I heard Dillon Gabriel was getting first-team reps recently. Dillon Gabriel is getting all the work. And again, I told you guys this in a previous video. If you guys want to go down and look at my previous episodes of Sheduer Sanders on the Browns, the Dillon Gabriel situation, I told you guys it was going to work out this way. And I was getting comments that I was absolutely crazy. I was absolutely delusional. I told you that Dillon Gabriel was going to get this opportunity before Sheduer Sanders. Not only was Dillon Gabriel picked 2 rounds ahead of Sheduer Sanders, obviously it had the backing of everybody in the organization. They really like Dillon Gabriel. But people are looking at Sheduer Sanders compared to Dillon Gabriel like Dillon Gabriel was an absolute scrub. If you look at the 2 college careers, most people would rather have Dillon Gabriel's for sure. When you look at a guy that's at the top of FBS all-time passing records, not only that, played for 2 major programs in Oklahoma, Oregon, had signature wins, won a Big Ten championship at the Heisman ceremony. Like, this was a guy that had a absolutely phenomenal college career, and people are only talking about Sheduer Sanders and making him like he's a non-factor. Like, this was a guy that was better than Sheduer Sanders in college. Again, if you want to talk about pro prospects, skill sets, ceilings, yeah, Sheduer Sanders, you could argue, will have the higher pro ceiling. This was a guy that was just as good or better than Sheduer Sanders in college, and he's getting thrown away like he's nothing. Doesn't make sense at all. Now, when you look at, like I said, what Sheduer Sanders is going to have to do to be able to keep a job for the Cleveland Browns, it is nearly impossible. This is what I wanted to get into as well. So when you look, he said that he would be able to play in preseason when he was talking to Deion Sanders and that he would show what he would be able to do in preseason. And now with Kenny Pickett being sidelined, there is no doubt Sheduer Sanders is definitely going to play in the preseason. But when you look at the preseason and how these coaches manage these quarterbacks, especially these third and fourth strings quarterbacks, like, you still aren't going to be able to have a chance to prove yourself. Like, did anybody watch the Chargers Lions Hall of Fame game? I know people didn't, but if you want to go and look at the stats of these third string quarterbacks and look at the game for a little bit, like DJ Ungale and Hendon Hooker, two guys again that were pretty high profile in college, they were allowed to do absolutely nothing in this game. Combined, the both of them had 9 total passes in this game. They were just running the ball, and then you get a check down opportunity here and there. Like, they put absolute handcuffs on you. They're not letting you show your skill set. And that's exactly what's going to happen to Sheduer Sanders in the preseason. Like, they're just going to be running the ball constantly. He's getting an opportunity for a couple of checkdowns. And he's getting, again, single-digit reps in training camp. Like, the opportunity for this guy to start. And the main thing we're going to get into right now is, again, not only is there 2-3 people ahead of him, depending on what's going on with Kenny Pickett to the start of the season, he eventually has to get in as a 5th-round pick, getting no reps in a point of the season where maybe he'll be able to start for 2-3 games, best case scenario, and he would absolutely have to light it up. Because when you look at this Browns team, they're going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. But not only that, this is also a team that has 2 first-round picks in a loaded quarterback draft class next year. Like, the minimal investment that they put in Dillon Gabriel and Sheduer Sanders, unless Sheduer Sanders or Dillon Gabriel absolutely showed things that we did not expect them to show, were absolutely phenomenal in the couple of games that they may get the opportunity for in the NFL, they're going to go quarterback next year. So for Sheduer Sanders, that's getting single-digit reps right now in camp, that is the 3rd, 4th QB on the depth chart, that's going to play in the preseason and only get the opportunity for a couple of checkdowns a game that the ownership didn't want, the chances that this guy gets in this year for a game or 2 are extremely slim. And the chances that they look at those 2 games and say, hey, we're going to continue on with this 5th-round pick and not draft a quarterback in a loaded quarterback class with our first 2 picks, are absolutely, like, slim to none. And again, if you guys want to look at Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, all these people got drafted, again, in later rounds and are Hall of Famers, and you think Sheduer Sanders is going to be that, if you were that high on him, congratulations to you. You could live that fairy tale pipeline dream. But that is not going to happen at all. That is not going to happen at all. Sheduer Sanders has 0 to no chance again of being the future of the Browns, in my opinion. But not only that, when they were talking about the Browns going to trade a QB, it can't be Sheduer Sanders as well. That's another thing I wanted to mention, because Sheduer Sanders, like we know, was drafted in the 5th round. Most teams passed on him 4 times. Some teams passed on him 5. There is nothing that a team could trade for Sheduer Sanders really at all. So you better hope he stays on this Browns roster if you're a Sheduer Sanders fan. But again, looking at the future landscape of the Browns, the people in front of him, the opportunities that he's going to get, and the 2 first-round draft picks next year, again, we are talking about Sheduer Sanders time and time again when this guy really has no opportunity on this Browns roster. Like, can we talk about something else? Can we talk about the future all-time greats in the NFL? Can we talk about the great players in college football? Stuff that's actually going to happen on the field this year. That wraps up this episode of Sloppy Saturdays, and we